Hi, this is Mark from Altcoin Buzz, and today we're going to take a look at three coins, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, and XRP, and we'll try and get through those very quickly. As we go through the charts, remember one thing. This market is very volatile. It's very fragile right now, especially on Bitcoin with the lower volume, and anything can happen. But as we're looking at the charts, we're looking at them a little bit more long term, not looking at them for this day, but what is it looking like long term, kind of over the next week or so? What are those key points, key areas, key thresholds from a price standpoint that we should be looking for? Let's start off with Bitcoin on the USD 12-hour chart. And what you can see right now is that the Ichimoku cloud is up and the VPVR is up, the volume by price range. Currently, our point of control on the VPVR is about $6,440, call it $6,450. Our current price is sitting right around $65.60, somewhere in there, call it $65.50, just to make it even. And you can see that the Ichimoku cloud, when we're trading in it or below it, acts as a resistance level for us. What we were trying to do is settle in on the light blue line, which is our 21-day moving average, or a 21 period, moving average, which in this case would be 6 days. On the red line, our 51 period moving average, we tapped right into it with a long wick, like right to that line. That would typically be a very bullish candle because the bears tried to drive it down to that 51 period moving average, and then we bounced right off of it. But the concerning thing is that the cloud is still acting as resistance, and that 21-day moving average is also acting as resistance. So now if we go into the 1 day, you can see we basically got this channel that we've been trading in for almost a month now. Now we were making higher highs along with higher lows. We did not clear a higher high at the beginning of last week, and it looks like we may, if this candle closes any lower, we may end up making a lower low as well. If I bring up our 50-day exponential moving average in the green line, you can see that is acting as strong resistance over the last week. And if we bring in our Ichimoku cloud, now these are daily moving averages. So the 51-day moving average and our 21-day moving average, we're trading right in between those two in that very tight range. You can see that the cloud out in front is starting to flatten out right in this area here. And this is about the $6,500 area that we're trading in right now. So it looks like we're going to try and find support there. If we can't find support here, then chances are our support will end up being at that $64.50 range. Back to the point of control on the VPVR, this green line at the bottom. And for those people that like to look at Bollinger Bands, you can see that the bands are starting to tighten up once again. We have a very tight upper and lower band on the Bollinger Bands, which is the upper part of the range on average, the lower part of the range on average, and then our red line, which is our kind of midpoint in between those two, and we're trying to find support on that. We have been for the last week or so. The good thing is that is trending up, but as these bands tighten, there's an indication that there will be a big move up to the top side or the bottom side, with the pressure coming from our exponential moving average, and that's a lot that we need to break through. As we look at the RSI, it's coming back down to the moving average. We're looking to find support there above the mid-range. That's basically no man's land, which just illustrates the point that we've been trading sideways for a little bit. Our stochastic RSI is also trending down. So with our price action moving down, when we do get volume into the market, with the moving average pressure that we have going on, the chances of breaking to the downside of this wedge are much greater than continuing up, in my opinion. And so the next stop from there is going to be looking for that 64.40 and whether or not that can hold. As we bring up the VPVR on the daily, we're looking to see if this can hold us. If it doesn't hold us, then once we break through the $6,300 range, there isn't a whole lot of support. You can see this is where the most significant amount of volume has been, in between the $6,500 and $6,300. There'd be a little bit of resistance between 63 and 62.50, call it, but from there, very little resistance to take us back down to the 6. Do I think that we could get there? Anything could happen. The way that the market's been manipulated over the last month or so, and we do typically have swings in monthly periods. You can see that this was a period of about a month right here. We're down to the end of a month right now. So a significant move one way or the other, or at least in a directional move, would happen theoretically in this month. Now, seasonality says October is a good month for Bitcoin. So if we're going to go with trading seasonality, we'd be looking more to the bullish side. But again, with the manipulation that's been going on in the market recently, I think that this is just waiting to have that ETF decision come out, that they will probably stall it one more time, postpone it one more time. We'll be looking at kind of the beginning of the year before they make a final decision. And the market makers will use that news to break down this chart a little bit more and take us out of this channel. That's just a guess, but again, and a cynical guess, but again, just with this manipulation that's been happening, I just would not be surprised if that were to happen here soon. We really need to see a break above the $6,700, $6,800 range to feel better about this channel being a strong channel for us and on some significant volume. So to wrap it up, if this trend line doesn't hold, be looking for 64.50 or somewhere in that range to be our support area that we'd be looking to hit. If we break below that 64.50, the next area that we'd be looking at as a price target is going to be somewhere around $6,200. All right, let's take a look at XRP. XRP has had a very nice run over the last week and a half or so. We've got this ascending triangle in an uptrend, which typically means a consolidation period before continuing the trend. So if we go with that premise, you've got a very nice flagpole here, and we can take a look at what that price target might be based upon that flagpole. The only thing that concerns me is when a coin goes up parabolic like this, the chances for it to break down quickly are equally as great. You've got declining volume overall happening right now as we see this downtrend. So that actually is a very weak downtrend in my mind as the volume continues to decline. This is on the daily chart, the USD daily chart, but still overall the indication would be that this is still a very strong trend. Now a price target on this, if we do break to the upside, would be the length of the flagpole, which we'll take from here and take it up to the top, somewhere in that 112% range. So if XRP were able to break out of the top of this flag, this ascending triangle, the chances of getting up to over $1, that would be the target, right? So let's just take a look at that and see where that comes out to. We've got this price area right here at about 90 cents. That would be a logical area for resistance, or even below that at the 79.80 cent range, which XRP came up to, tapped on with a very long wick, and then was rejected from. So that'd be the first area that I'd look for to see if we break out of this ascending triangle for XRP to get to, is to try and reach up to that 79.80 cents. Right now you're sitting in this range of support. So if XRP could maintain that along with this trend line, that would be very healthy. If we just take a real quick look at the Fibonacci based upon where it consolidated last time, right? If we just get some more consolidation in here, and if we go through the Fibonacci exercise and it tries to hit the 618, that would coincide with this resistance area back here at 70 cents. So that's the first price target that I'd be looking at, somewhere in that 66 to 70 cent range. If we break out of this ascending triangle, the stochastic RSI, which is basically your kind of momentum indicator on the price action, is starting to cool off a little bit. It's going to need to reset after this kind of move that we've had. So a reset here would not be out of the ordinary, and then a continuation up from this pattern once that gets reset could be a great possibility. Now, if you do break through this 52 cent range right in here where this if it doesn't hold as support here, you can see on the volume by price range that the next area of support is going to be in that 45 cents. And it's not going to take much. There's not a lot of resistance there for it to drop down to that area. If a break through the 45 cent range happens, your next area of support starts coming in somewhere around 35 cents based upon this previous price action and where the volume by price has been happening. But overall right now, I'd say not a critical time to get worried about XRP. Be watching for those levels. A breakthrough of this 51 cents would be concerning, because then you're out of this either bull flag or descending triangle, either way that you want to look at that. So that'll wrap up XRP. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is Bitcoin Cash, but we're going to start here at CoinGecko.com because I want to show you something that CoinGecko has added in, which is very helpful, especially for those folks that have been asking about what we do our charting on, which is TradingView.com. And CoinGecko has added in a feature where you can get into TradingView directly from CoinGecko. I do like CoinGecko. Again, we've talked about it before because they do some evaluations that CoinMarketCap doesn't do. They give you a single page, which we'll look at on Bitcoin Cash if we go to Bitcoin Cash, a single view on the coin with the charts, all-time highs, the last 30, 60, 90 days, where you can find the markets. It's all in one place, and that makes it very convenient. So if you go to the coin that you want to see, Right now we're on Bitcoin Cash, and we go to the charting area and then to trading view up here, we could get directly into a trading view chart, and it pops up just like that. We'll do the evaluation on Bitcoin Cash here. It's going to be a little bit small, but that's okay. So up in the top is where you can select your time ranges. We'll look at it on a 1-day period. Switch over there. If you're accustomed to using Heikin Ashi charts or candles, you can get to those here. If you go to bar styles and then go down to Heikin Ashi, and there you have your Heikin Ashi candles. Your drawing tools are off on the left-hand side. I'm not going to go through those today. You'll have to learn how to use those on your own, unfortunately, for now. But let's just take a look at the chart together. We've got ascending volume happening on Bitcoin Cash. Over the last couple weeks, the volume on Bitcoin Cash has dramatically risen. And if we just kind of pull this out a little bit, you can see the kind of price action that we've had. So one of the things that I see as I look at this chart is potentially the formation of a cup and handle. If you look at this shape right here being the cup and this the handle, and sometimes that can angle down, but that being the cup and the handle, there is a price move that you can make, or a price target that you can get from that if you take the bottom of the cup and go up to the handle, which is roughly 25%, and use that from the breakout, because this would be continuation of the trend, even if we came down a little bit, to break back up. And from there, 25% would take us up to somewhere in that $650 range, back up to where we found some resistance up in here. In addition, with this move up, we've got what looks like to be a very symmetrical triangle pattern, creating a little bit of a flag, which will be a continuation of that trend. So Bitcoin Cash looks pretty healthy. Let's see if we can just zoom out on this just a little bit. You can see this kind of volume has not happened since back last year. The other thing that you may be noticing is that we're trying to find support right in this area where we had support before. All of this looks very healthy. This cup and handle potentially forming, that flag forming. If we can break through this kind of resistance right now, then that target looks pretty realistic. If we were just to do a little bit of a Fibonacci here, based upon where the last move was, we've got resistance sitting at right about the halfway point at about a 0.05. If we can find some support there, the target, at least for the next short term, would be at that 618. Traders like that area, bots like that area. That's at the 5666. Somewhere in that range. So a break above this looks like that would be our next target to get to. Settle in there and then be looking for that 786, the 0.786, $600. And from there, that 25% kind of price target based upon the flag and based upon that cup and handle. And if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, the way it sits, this light blue line being right around the 20-day moving average, and this red blue line being right at about the 50-day moving average. It looks like we're trying to find support there at the 50-day moving average. You've got on the projection forward, theoretically, your support area that you want to stay within is that 515 area. And it also matches up here with your price action that you got a little bit of a bump off of. So a break below that kind of 515 area is going to end up being a concern unless it can fall and settle in on this moving average of 500, a break below 500, and you're just continuing this trend down. So that'll wrap it up for today. Be careful out there. There's potential for a lot of bull and bear traps to be sprung. Also, don't forget to join us on Altcoin Buzz IO, where we post articles all day long. Some talented writers writing all day to keep you up on everything that's going on in the crypto world. You can also link to our social media from there directly. I hope this was helpful for you. Until next time, may all your trades be good ones.